Did you overspend in 2022 and not save any money? I know I'm guilty of it. So let's get clarity on your debt in 2022. The reason why you haven't saved any money is because you haven't started. Now, I'm a big believer that whatever you put your mind to and you manifest, because I am really a good saver and I've been a saver for some years. Now, I didn't learn this in school. My mother didn't teach me. Nobody taught me. Now, I am a hair stylist. That's what I do. And I also own a hair salon. So when I first started doing hair, money was coming, cash back then, used to get a lot of cash. And I would spend it as soon as I get it. And then by the time it was time for me to pay my rent at my apartment, I didn't have any money left over. So I had to sit down and really have a real good concrete talk to myself. And I said to myself, if you plan on surviving or not getting put out, you're going to have to learn or teach yourself how to save. So what I started doing was, whenever I got paid, and I think my work day back then was Tuesday through Saturday. So every time I got paid, when I was getting cash, checks, I would just save it. And then when Saturday rolled around, it was time, I would go home, calculate all my money and see how much money I made. Then I started dispersing it into different bank accounts. And I started that years ago. And that worked out, it worked out great for me. I was able to send my youngest son, I have two sons, I was able to send my youngest son to college debt-free. I paid for his college tuition. He didn't get any financial aid. He didn't get any scholarship. So I paid out of pocket. I've been pretty good with saving money, but this last couple years since the pandemic, I struggled a little, but I was still able to maintain and still pay my bills. And that was because I was always a good saver. Now, I'm going to give y'all some of the tips that I've used, and I know it will work for you. So what you have to do, you have to get a sheet of paper and a pencil or a pen, whatever is, you feel comfortable with. You need to write down all your bills on the sheet of paper, everything. Your mortgage, if you renting, utility, your car note, your car insurance, whatever. Now, by me being self-employed, I have to pay my own health insurance and I have to pay my disability insurance. So if you're self-employed, you need to write down everything. Then, everything. If you buy Starbucks, any McDonald's or fast food, any type of food that you buy during the week, your gas for your vehicle, everything, you have to write everything down. Then in the next column, you're gonna write down the amount of each itemized item that you put down. And then you're gonna take that column that you wrote down the amount and you're going to add it up. So you're gonna need a calculator too. So you can use your phone, you're gonna need pencil, paper, and a calculator. And then you're gonna add everything on there, the amount of what you put out. Either you made enough money and you spent too much, or either you don't make enough money. So you gotta figure out where you at. Either you make enough money, but you're spending too much, or either you don't make enough money. So if you're making enough money, then you're gonna have to figure out where you could subtract and start saving money. Whether it's not buying Starbucks, whether it's lowering your cable bills, it's certain things that you'll be able to subtract. Not everything, but certain things. If you have a car insurance, and if you could call another insurance company and lower that, you could do that. But this year is the year that we have to start saving money, okay? And once you calculate it and you find out the actual bottom number, and you find out that you do make enough, but you're spending too much, that's when you're gonna have to go in there and you're gonna have to start subtracting. But if you are not making enough, then you're gonna have to go out and get you another job until you are able to catch up with your finances, start saving. Now, my first suggestion is that you go out and you open up 4 bank accounts, 2 for savings and 2 for checking. Now, the first one you're gonna open up is going to be for your bill account, where you pay your rent, your mortgage, anything that has to do with your home. Then your second one is going to be a spending account. And when I say spending account, and that's after you get your finances and your debt in order. You're gonna have a spending account that you do not attach anything other, like your bill account with that. So it's going to be a totally separate account. That account is going to be where you could just put money in there, $150, just a miscellaneous, that if you want to go out and you want to buy a shirt or want to have go out to eat with your friends. But that's not until after you find out where you at. Either you make enough and you spend it too much, or you're not making enough and you start having some money put away for emergency. Then the next 2 is for emergency. And your emergency fund is if your transmission go out, if you have an older vehicle, if your transmission go out, or if you own a home and your furnace go out. Now, just a couple of weeks, if I wouldn't have my emergency fund, I would have been in trouble. My furnace went out and I had to pay $400 to get it fixed. So that's why it's so important to have an emergency fund. Then you could also have another saving account, and that's for if you want to purchase something, if you want to get a new refrigerator, if you want to go on vacation, anything of that sort. So once you open up those 4 accounts, and if you work for a company, you can either ask them to have them disperse the money into the account. And if they don't disperse it in every last one of them, maybe you could get them to do it in 2 accounts. And then from those 2 accounts, then you can have them disperse it into the other 2 accounts. But by me being self-employed, I don't have that option. So if you're self-employed, whether you're a cosmetologist, a hairstylist, a barber, a manicurist, landscaper, anything of that sort, where you don't get an actual physical, and not check, but money being deposited into your account. And if you work a job and you get paid twice in a month, you have to figure out how much money you actually need to go into each one of those accounts. So if your bill account to pay your bills, you need $2,000 in there a month, and you make probably say $4,000 a month. You're gonna have to know how to put the money in the account where you have enough. So if you put $1,000 that week, the first week you get paid into your bill money, then you have to take the other $1,000 and disperse it into the other 3 accounts to make sure that you meet all your goals. But if you're self-employed, you either need to go to each individual bank account and to put the money in there, or either have your main account and then you start dispersing the money into the other accounts. Now, it's up to you how you want to do it. And then I suggest the account that is for your saving, where you don't want to touch, you put that money on an online account where you don't have access to it. And if you feel like you're getting tempted, you need to get an accountability person, a friend. You can even, someone that can help you to not get tempted to spend any money. But this year is so crucial for us to really start saving. Now, if you do these steps, I'm telling you, you will see a change. And I also believe in manifesting and believing that if you want something, you can get it. But you have to put in the work. Now, this year is going to be a good year for us. We're going to manifest prosperity, wealth, getting out of debt, having money saved, money in our account, money in our emergency, just everything. But you have to believe and you have to put the work in. Now, I wasn't taught this, but I taught myself. And I'm not going to say it's easy. It's a hard road. But if you're tired of living from paycheck to paycheck, you have to put the work in. I'm telling you, being in debt causes stress, causes illness, causes sickness, causes breakup with your marriage. It also prevents your kids from being able to do things. But you have to get your debt in order, in check. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be able to do these things, but I'm just talking about right now. When I first started, I was so gung-ho on not being in debt. And I did everything I had to, because the road that I was going down, every time somebody put some money in my hand, I was out shopping, just hanging out and wanted to have the latest. And I'm not saying that you can't, but if you have money put away, you can splurge a little bit, spend a little bit. But you have to have a nest egg and save for your retirement, save for your future, save for your kids' future. Because if I was not a saver, I wouldn't have been able to put my son through college. Now, my oldest son ended up getting a full ride because he played basketball. So I was blessed in that order. But I wanted both of my kids to graduate debt-free. Now, I could have purchased a insurance where they would pay for your child's education, but they would have to go to the school in your state. But as time went, I was going to get it, and I didn't get it. So I had to come out of pocket. I paid for his 4-year degree. And that was one of the proudest moments, because I set out to do it and I was able to do it. Being a hairstylist. Anybody could do it. Even if you have to go get a part-time job. So you have to figure out, are you making enough and you're spending it too much? Or either you're not making enough. And if you're not making enough, then you have to get a part-time job. Being in debt is stressful. And with stress causes illness. And how the saying go, money is the root of all evil. I said no, stress is the root of all evil. So write that down there. Stress in the comments. Stress is the root of all evil. And if you do these steps right here, this step, so easy. Open up 4 accounts, 2 savings, 2 checking, 1 online, so you don't have access to it, and that's the savings. But follow these 2 couple steps that I just gave you, and I'm telling you, your stress level is going to go down. You're going to feel better. You're not going to be stressed. And I'm telling you, what you believe and you manifest, you will get what you ask for. But you have to put the work in. I'll see you in the next video. And my name is Lydia.